Today we have our 11th championship case. And I gotta admit, I'm not used to talking about this guy and his championship hopes this low on the grid. So this will be quite the championship case here. But we do this for all 16 playoff drivers. These are not predictions, but I give a championship case for all 16 playoff drivers. There's a playlist over in my playlist sections if you want to go find your favorite driver. If you're a Martin Truex Jr. fan, if you're a Kyle Busch fan, if you're a Chris Buescher fan. We've already done 10 of them. This is number 11, and it is the most popular driver in NASCAR unanimously, Joey Logano. All kidding aside, we're going to talk about Joey Logano's season so far, and it's been a quiet one, but not exactly in a good way. Last season, I thought was a quiet regular season from Joey Logano, but in a very good way. Logano had 2 wins last season entering the playoffs. He was top 5, I think, in the regular season standings, but he was very quiet, which was a good thing because he ended up going on to win the championship. This year, he's been quiet, but it's not really a good thing. He has 1 win, and it came at a super speedway, Atlanta. On the season, he currently sits 13th in the regular season standings. He does have 7 top 5s, 11 top 10s, which is not bad. He also has a few stage wins as well, 3 of them. But as I said, it's just kind of been a quiet year for him. He hasn't really been up front winning a lot. When he does get into the top 5, sometimes it's just, things happen and he ends up there. It's a good strategy call. There have been a few times that he's been up there on speed, don't get me wrong, but it hasn't been like last year where he's just been so consistent, top 10, top 8 consistently, but he doesn't, he just does it quietly. This year, he's just kind of there. He's led 251 laps, which isn't bad. It's 10th in the series on the laps led. But the first point I'm going to bring up, get playoff points. This is the first point for everyone. Get playoff points. There's no such thing as too many of them, okay? So winning races, winning stages, because it's going to be a tight points battle for Joey Logano the entire time. Starting out with this first round, Darlington, Kansas, and Bristol. Darlington, prior to last year, was not a good track for Joey Logano. But this next-gen car and Joey Logano at Darlington, for some reason, he hasn't figured out. He got a win last spring. He finished top 5 in the Southern 500 last year, sorry. So Darlington, a next-gen car, I don't know why it has been, but it's been a very good track for him. If they can continue that speed, continue to be up front and getting poles, I think they got a pole this year, maybe. They had a pole in one of the races. But Darlington has been a really good track for him recently. I guess it's just the car and that track suits his style, something like that. But if he can continue to show that speed, I think a top 10 is realistic in terms of the bad half of things. I think legitimately, though, he could be top 5, maybe even competing for the win. I think you're going to see your normal faces up front there. Darlington, Kyle Larson, Denny Hamlin. Those are the 2 guys who usually you would expect to see up front. Martin Truex Jr., I expect to see him up front, maybe even Kyle Busch. But Joey Logano, I think, could very well be in that mix. So I think a top 5 is a good possibility, top 10 at worst, and that'll set you up good for Kansas. Kansas, Logano does have a few wins at that track in his career. I think the last one was in 2020. Of course, he played the aero defense perfectly on Kevin Harvick to get into the championship 4. And he's won a couple times there, but in the next-gen car, he has yet to win there. The mile and a halves have been a struggle for Ford as a whole this year, but we have seen speed at some intermediate tracks. We saw Ryan Blaney dominate the Coke 600, which of course is Joey Logano's teammate. We saw Chris Buescher hold off a strong Martin Truex Jr. at Michigan. So it's possible for Joey Logano to go up here and run up front, but realistically, I'd say he's top 15 at worst. I think a top 10 is possible. So if he can top 5 Darlington, top 10 here, I think he should be safe going into Bristol. But Bristol is a good track for him. He has a couple of wins at Bristol, asphalt and dirt. The next-gen car for Ford has been good at the short tracks. Of course, Chris Buescher won this race a year ago. So I expect Logano to run top 10 here as well. If he can top 10, top 5, these first 3 races, he'll be fine. Even top 15 in one of these, he should be fine. But my biggest concern for him is the point situation. He only has, 8 points right now? So he needs to get those playoff points. Next round is Texas, Talladega, and the Roval. Texas, Logano only has 1 win at. It's one of his weaker mile and a halves, I would say. But of course, we don't really know what's going to happen in this race because last year was kind of a crap fest with the tires. However, Team Penske ran fantastic in the All-Star race last year, which gives me hope for Logano. Blaney dominated that race. I think Cindric finished second. Logano finished top 5. He might have even finished third. But if they can bring back that speed that they had last year, Logano could be in contention for the win at this one. If he can keep his tires on, if they show the same speed, Logano's going to be a top 5 threat in this thing, I think. So kind of like what I said with Blaney the other day, if they bring that same speed from last year and even some of that speed from the Coke 600, Logano very well could be in contention at this track. Talladega is a super speedway. As I said at the beginning of this video, Joey Logano's one win this year was on a super speedway. In fact, Logano has 4 wins at Talladega. Maybe more, honestly, but it's been a while. It has been a while since Joey Logano has won at Talladega. I think 2018. It's been 5 years since Joey Logano has won at Talladega. In fact, prior to that win in Atlanta in the spring, I can't remember the last time Joey Logano finished a super speedway race. Maybe, well, I guess the Daytona 500 this year. Well, good job, me. I'm an idiot. But realistically, like, Logano has been checkers or wreckers at super speedways since that 2018 Talladega win, and the majority of those have been wreckers. For Joey Logano, for this race, I know you want to go up front. You want to win. You want to get stage points. Hear me out. Survive. Joey Logano, the goal for you in this race is to survive. If you can get stage points, that is great. The fact of the matter is, the first few super speedway races we saw in this car were pretty tame. This race last year was extremely tame. There was one big wreck, and only 2 cars were out of the race. Everyone else was able to move on, and like 33 cars finished on the lead lap. I don't expect that for this race again. As we've seen throughout this year and the end of this year, really, the super speedways have gotten much more chaotic. Daytona, the 500 was just chaotic. Talladega this spring was all over the place. We had that crazy crash with Larson and Priest, and then we had the last lap crash with Bubba Wallace and Ryan Blaney. The super speedways have been way more sketchy this year, and guys are just more confident with moves, whatever it may be. They're willing to get out of line and cause things. If I'm Joey Logano in this race, I am survival mode. Joey Logano's not going to like that. He's a racer. He likes to be the guy who, goes up there and fights for the win early. Joey, there are going to be guys who crash out of this thing. If it's the round of 12, there's going to be, let's say, your teammate, Ryan Blaney crashes out, Brad Keselowski, Chris Buescher. Some of these guys are going to crash out. If you just survive, that's at least 10 points on them. Hear me out. Survive this race, Joey Logano, and then at the end you can get yourself a top 10. That's a very attainable goal. And then for the Roval, Logano only has 1 win on a road course in his career, but he did have pace in this race last year. He won the pole. He was up in the top 5 for a good chunk of the race, if I remember correctly. And honestly, he's kind of a sleeper on road courses. He'll go up there and he'll be in the top 10 the entire day, but he won't make a peep. It's kind of like what he did last year. Well, he'll run top 10, top 8, even in the top 5 for a bit, but you won't hear much about him because really, he doesn't do anything. He just quietly runs where he is. He doesn't make contact with anyone. He doesn't hit the wall, clean pit stops all day. If they can just do that, get a quiet top 10 out of the day, survive at Talladega, and get a top 5 at Texas, they could get into that next round, the round of 8. In that round of 8, Joey Logano, the defending winner at Las Vegas, Joey Logano, has once had to make a move to win at Martinsville to advance to the championship for, and successfully did so. And he has won a championship at Homestead, Miami. And that is another point I bring up. Joey Logano has something a lot of these guys in the playoffs don't have, and that is he knows how to win a championship in this format. In fact, he is one of 2 drivers all time to win a championship in this format. Him and Kyle Busch are the only ones to win multiple championships under this elimination format, and I truly think that is something huge for him, but also his team. This is the same team from last year. This is the same crew chief from last year. They know what they're doing. They know how to get it done. They know how to show up in these clutch situations. This is not an ideal situation for Joey Logano. He is going to enter this round of 8 in the minus, behind the cutoff line by maybe double-digit points before the round even starts. If he has a bad race at Vegas or if he runs 15th, that gap is going to go from this to this. But Joey Logano knows how to get it done in this format. He knows how to win when he has to win. He could very well do it again. And I believe he can. I truly do believe he can. I think Vegas and Martinsville are his best opportunities. Vegas, he was on the pole in the spring, led a good chunk of laps in that race before crashing out. As I said, the defending winner of this race last fall. Vegas is a very strong track for him. He has 3 wins at that track, I want to say. This is a very good track for Joey Logano. I very truly believe that he can win that track. And also Martinsville. Short tracks, as I said, very good for Ford. Logano is a good driver at Martinsville. He has 1 win back in 2018. I think he could very well win one of those races. Homestead, not his strongest track, but once again, he does have a win there. He won his championship there. But I'd say Vegas or Martinsville, in all reality, it's going to be a must-win. Martin Truex Jr. has been better than him this year. William Byron has been better than him this year. Kyle Busch, Kyle Larson, Denny Hamlin. That's 5 guys who have been better and will most likely, realistically, run better than Logano in these races. I think it's going to come down to Joey Logano needing a win in this round, and I think Martinsville and Vegas are his opportunity. So if he gets that win, he goes to Phoenix Raceway, and of course, he is the defending champion. He is the defending winner of that race, and as I said, he knows how to get it done. Ford, fast at Phoenix Raceway. He's going to be one of the favorites if he enters this race. Obviously, there's only 4 guys. I can't keep saying that. I say that for every freaking driver in this format because there's only 4 of them. Of course, someone's got to be the favorite out of 4. If you're one of the 4, you're one of the favorites. Sorry for the side rant. But point being, Joey Logano, very good at Phoenix as of recently. Ford, very good at Phoenix as of recently. Very realistic possibility. Then again, the top 3 could just wreck each other, and Logano just walks to the championship on lap 2. But anyways, to wrap things up, Joey Logano, get yourself some more playoff points. You got to pick up the pace a little bit. It's been a little bit more of a struggle this year. The championship hangover is real. That first round, I think, you can survive it, but top 10s are preferred. Second round, it may take a little more effort, but surviving Talladega is a big one if you ask me. And then that final round, I think, will come down to a must-win. But if he can do that, Phoenix is a very good track for him, for Ford, for Team Penske. So thanks for watching this video. Tomorrow we have Logano's old teammate, Brad Keselowski, his first playoff appearance with RFK. So we will do that one tomorrow. Thank you guys for watching this video. As I said, if you want to go see another one of these videos, whether it's Chris Buescher, whether it's Ross Chastain, Christopher Bell, go check that out in the playlist. Just over in the playlist section of the channel. We do these daily for the weekdays. So I'll have Keselowski tomorrow. We have Michael McDowell on Friday. Got to be honest, I didn't think I'd be making that one this season, but here we are. And then next week we will finish them up, and then I'll do my full playoff preview. And any schedule changes, any scheduling to these videos, I will put in the community post. So thank you guys for watching. Hope you enjoyed it, and we've got a few more of these to go.